Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name's Jack Howard, aka Film Boy, who tells you about what films are good. I've noticed recently, unsure why, that I've been feeling particularly drawn to more uplifting or comforting films. And I've got a sneaking suspicion that I'm not the only one, so I thought I'd take the liberty of putting together a list of 5 feel-good film recommendations that will warm your heart, soothe your soul, or just generally distract you from... But before we get started, I just want to let you know this video is sponsored by Surfshark VPN. They're offering you 83% off with 3 extra months for free. Just use the promo code Jack Howard and I'll leave the link in the description. I'll tell you a little bit more about them at the end of the video, but for now, let's get on with the recommendations, which, like the government's attempts to deal with this whole coronavirus situation, are in no particular order. Bazinga. Number 1, Tenet. No, can you imagine if I... It does sound like something I'd do.
Good day so far?
Today, tomorrow, it's all the same.
Palm Springs. There's already something inherently comforting about Andy Samberg's face. And luckily, his face is featured quite prominently in this tale about a guy and a girl who are stuck in a never-ending time loop.
It's one of those infinite time loop situations you might have heard about.
That I might have heard about.
Yeah.
It's using that device to explore the idea of being stuck or unhappy in your life, but doing very little to change that. It's my favourite shit when a movie uses a really high concept idea to explore a very human experience. It's very, very funny, and Andy Samberg and Kristen Milioti are electric together, but at the centre of it is a very personal and very touching story. I absolutely loved it. You'd be forgiven for thinking that this looks like a old, stuffy political drama, but I promise you it is not. It's a proper, charming 90s rom-com that just happens to take place in the White House.
I'm having dinner at the White House.
I'm having lunch at the Kremlin.
It's written by Aaron Sorkin, who wrote The Social Network, so you can expect that usual snappy, clever dialogue with pithy one-liners and clever comebacks. Like, everyone in the room always has the smartest thing to say.
She didn't say anything about me. Well, no, sir, but I could pass her a note before study hall.
It was also directed by Rob Reiner, who helmed When Harry Met Sally, which is the feel-good movie to end all feel-good movies that's not going to be officially part of this list. Too much of an obvious choice, but just sneakily bring it in anyway. And this effervescent combination of smart writing and heartfelt direction forms this pristine, efficient packaging of a film that also doesn't shy away from political issues. It brings up issues of global warming and gun control, and there's a speech that the president gives towards the end of the film that I'd like to hear in real life in 2021. And this film was made in 1995.
Oh shit!
I've spoken about this film before, and I'm sure lots of people have seen it now that it's available to stream. But if I can just get one person to watch Booksmart who hasn't seen it yet, then putting it on this list will have been worth it.
We haven't done anything. We haven't broken any rules. Name one person whose life was so much better because they broke a couple of rules.
Picasso.
He broke art rules.
Rosa Parks.
Name another
Susan
one.
B. Anthony.
God damn it.
The film stars Caitlin Dever and Beanie Feldstein. Their chemistry is what drives this movie, but Olivia Wilde made this movie. She directed the shit out of Booksmart. You can feel her passion and energy bursting through the screen. She uses everything at her disposal to make this an absolute treat to watch.
Can I get a what?
Jesus Christ.
No, that's okay.
But the best thing that I think I can say about Booksmart is that it treats its characters, all of its characters, with love and with respect. By the end of the film, when you see them at graduation, you look out at that crowd and you feel like you know all those characters in an hour and a half. And I think that's a real accomplishment. I obviously had to get a little bit of Steven Soderbergh in here. He obviously directed the Ocean's films, and Logan Lucky is a triumphant return to the genre. But this time, instead of career criminals orchestrating a heist, it's people who don't seem to know what they're doing.
You Logans mustn't be as simple-minded as people say.
People say that.
Soderbergh is known for directing and shooting and editing his own movies, so there's a very clear vision to his films. It's got a very specific tone of voice. One of my favourite scenes is when Channing Tatum and Adam Driver go and speak to Daniel Craig when he's in prison to try and recruit him to help them with this heist.
I am incarcerated.
And as the scene moves, every time they change the subject or the conversation progresses, the camera changes angle ever so slightly and it never goes back to where it was before. That's the sort of directing that I absolutely love. It's very subtle visual storytelling that you don't take in consciously, but it's going in there and it's telling you that something is progressing. And the comedy in it veers between subtle and clever dialogue to just the absurd. There's a small scene in it involving a bear in the woods that always makes me laugh just because it's so weird. But why is it on a heartwarming list, eh, Jack, you fucking bastard? It's a bit harsh, but alright. At the centre of the film is this really adorable relationship between a father and a daughter. And there's a scene later in the film that always gets me a little bit misty-eyed.
In telling the story of my father's life, it's impossible to separate fact from the fiction.
My final recommendation is Big Fish, which is my absolute favourite of Tim Burton's films. I'm not the biggest fan of Tim Burton's style, never have been, even back in my emo phase, when everyone was going on about The Nightmare Before Christmas. Oh, they love that, don't they? It's just never struck a chord with me, but I think Big Fish gives it a certain context that I prefer, because it's a story about stories and there's a question at the centre of it about the authenticity of what we're seeing, and I like that there's a separation between fantasy and reality. There's a reason why we connect with this stuff, with the absurd. There's something very real at the heart of it, even if we don't understand it at first. And I especially love Jessica Lange's performance as Edward Bloom's wife, because it could come across as quite a thankless role, but it's a very important role. You need to believe in the emotion that she's going through, and you really do. It's a very delicate performance, and just personally, the little physical trait that they have where he puts his thumb on her chin, there's something about that just makes my chest swell. It's absolutely gorgeous, and I won't lie, the last 10 minutes just make me fucking weep.
Big Fish.
Right. That's your lot. But before you go away and do something else on the internet, I just want to let you know that I do a podcast with film critic and future version of me, Mark Kermode.
Jack is currently dressed as an urban gorilla, as far as I can tell.
And lo and behold, the latest episode is all about heartwarming films. So if you'd like to listen to that and any of the other episodes that we've done together, I'll leave the link in the description. Thank you very much for watching. This video was sponsored by Surfshark VPN. Surfshark can help you protect your data, but also you can use it to change your location so you can watch content that's not available in your country. So for example, Big Fish and Logan Lucky are on South Korean Netflix, and The American President, you're not going to believe it, is on American Netflix. And if you're outside the UK, Booksmart is on the UK Netflix. They're offering you 83% off with 3 extra months for free. Just use the promo code Jack Howard, and that will be the top link in the description. Thank you very much for watching. Piss off.